Hey, welcome to the Friday the 13th edition of CyberTalk with Bob and Chris. Anyway, I don't know what we're talking about today. Chris and
I'm sitting in
I.
the dark just for this event. Like I didn't turn my light on or anything. I just
Okay.
want to be ominous, right?
It's going to be ominous.
That's what I'm trying to go for today. Yeah. I'm feeling dark in my heart today, honestly.
Well, based on the text messages we had this morning, you were pretty fired up.
Oh man. I love this. I love IT. I love cyber, but man, sometimes you just want to smack somebody.
I was actually at a breakfast event the other day, and somebody turned to me and said, "I can't believe that you don't tell people how dumb they are every day. How do you keep your mouth shut?"
Yeah, but you can't call people dumb.
I can't call people dumb, and it's like I will help people. I want to help people be safe, and people don't necessarily understand what's going on, and I'm sure there's been a few more breaches this week that have hit the news, some that haven't hit the news. I saw something yesterday where MorphSec had a diagram that of how they think MGM was compromised. I don't know that it's actually been totally released yet, but
either way, it's a pretty diagram.
It is a pretty diagram.
And some of the things we do know that their ESX was encrypted, but like they're talking about lateral movement and stuff. But like, yeah, it's a pretty diagram.
Well, the thing is, this diagram could happen to anybody. It's not like there's anything that hasn't been used in the past.
Yeah.
And do we really know that the cards were SIM swapped? No, but we do know. They did make it public that the help desk was changing somebody's password, and it escalated from there.
Speaking of passwords, you want to talk about a little bit of 23andMe? That's an interesting one. Did you read anything about it?
I saw a little bit.
Oh man!
So
everybody labeled as a data breach, and we're in Cybersecurity Awareness Month, right? So we're October 13th. What it was is people reuse passwords on 23andMe. So they did a credential stuffing attack. But the best part about that was there's this little section when you sign up for them that you can do DNA relative. And if you open that up, you're opening up your information for other people to find you as a relative. Well, if you get access to somebody's account, you can then now see so they scraped a bunch of data and they're selling it on the dark web. And some of the things I saw, like who knows if they're actually going to get much out of it, but 23andMe did initiate password resets for everybody because basically people just reuse passwords and they got credential stuff, so they just blasted a bunch of known passwords from breaches against it and got logged in and started scraping data. So that's fun, because here's when you should definitely reuse your password: when you send your DNA to a third party and then log into a website. 100% reuse a password and make sure it's like 8 characters, no complexity at all, just like numbers. By the way, this is for educational purposes only.
I don't even want to send my DNA to a company under my name. Is there an anonymous search we can do?
Yeah, I keep seeing data breach. And I'm like, they didn't. There's no proof that they got hacked. There's just proof that people just reuse passwords. People logged in. It's like. No, the thing that scares me is the whole DNA relative thing, because like if it's really that easy to open yourself up and you could just like do that's pretty sketchy. But
it's great for the bad guys to go find people that are affiliated with the persons to launch other attacks. Let's go find the guy's kids and send them some stuff.
Or you just hack McLaren Healthcare in Michigan and you just steal everybody's health information, so you can use that as blackmail too. There's that's happened this month. So.
Well, you remember
remember
my famous Dado trip to San Diego where I wound up in the ER. A year later, I got notice of a data breach there.
Oh, from San Diego?
From a one night visit to an ER with my broken wrist.
I ride a scooter, I break my wrist, and I get my data stolen. That's a bad day. That's just a bad day.
And about 6 months, I got $100 compensation for it.
$100.
from some class action suit against the hospital.
Oh yeah, there's a class action suit against MGM. I think from Caesars too. Like I said, McLaren Healthcare's got has a class action against them now. But like their stuff's bad. Like when a hospital gets data stolen like this, like they get health information stolen. Like the McLaren one's really bad in that they had internal pictures from their KeyPass, so like their password manager that they were using, they were logged into it. They had EMR pictures. Like it's bad. It's bad. And as a user, you know, the one thing that cracks me up about all this, and I'm not being serious about the laughing part, is all of these healthcare breaches, when you read their investor notes, so they file, like they talk about
Right.
their investors, they'll always say, it's not going to have a material impact on my business. Oh, so losing like HCA's case, like they lost like the information for like 11 million people. No, we're just going to affect them. But like for us, we're still going to make money. So that's all that matters.
We're still going to make money, and people still have to come to us because we're the only hospital that's here.
Yeah. And there's no fines to it. There's no repercussions to it. Uber CISO is appealing his conviction. I don't know. Did you see that?
No.
So he paid the ransom, tried to hide it a little bit like that. But the CEO knew about it, and he didn't get charged with it. So the CISO got convicted. I don't know how
That's
I feel
weird.
about it completely. Well,
Unless he did it all behind the back of the, but somebody's got to write the check.
doesn't sound like that. Yeah. So exactly. So I think at some point you're gonna have to hold these people accountable at all levels, especially because at the end of the day, the board owns the risk and owns the accountability for a business.
Sure.
So like pushing it down on a CISO and using him as a scapegoat is kind of dumb. What they did was kind of dumb too, because they tried not to tell the people that the data got leaked. So, you know, a lot of dumb stuff going on there, a lot of nefarious things going on. But here we are. So yeah, he appealed his convictions. We'll see how that goes. It's kind of hit or miss. Like I feel like if you pay a ransom and you try to hide it, like not just the CISO should go to jail in that case. Like you said, the board would have known about this. The CEO would have known about this. Like this is not a hidden thing inside the company. So
right. The remember in Dallas, Dan Aston was talking about there's now regulations that are, you know, if the CEO of the company is involved in a data is sanctioned for not doing the right stuff, it's actually following him.
Yeah.
So
I get behind that.
Yeah.
Especially if you're being negligent.
Yeah.
You know, I get behind that.
Cool. But, well, let's back up a little bit. It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Let's lighten this up a little bit.
I want to stay heavy.
Yeah, I know you were heavy all morning.
It's one of those days, man.
So it is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. It's a great time to think about your password hygiene. Like Chris said, stop reusing passwords. I know they're easy to it's easier to remember, and in this case it was only 23andMe. Well, now 23andMe, if you were involved there, and you had that button linked to go find other relatives. Well, now they know other people and other ways that may be to attack you and try and launch an attack. So change your passwords, assess your risk. We're talking to a couple big companies right now that may not know what's going on, or they might think their IT guys have it covered, and they were coming in. So Chris, last week I actually found a school system that had an open door at their high school on the internet.
I mean, I'm all for open door policies, but this is not.
This was the wrong type of open door, and
what was it?
It was an open RDP port on an old camera system. Apparently, the camera system wasn't being used anymore. But the cameras were defined in it. It was a network-based Windows DVR when I actually did get a chance to talk to the IT guys at that school district, and they told me They told me, it doesn't have access to anything. But when I look at it, the cameras were across like 6 different subnets. So it wasn't exactly segmented. And it was an old RDP box that was just sitting there, which they didn't even know about. And they're like, so we're talking about a risk assessment next week for them. And, I didn't reach out and say I was trying to hack them. I just reached out quietly and said, I think you've got an issue we need to talk about. And
I've seen a lot of those, and I've struggled with reaching out because I'm not sure how people are going to take it.
Yeah, and I've got another library system that I looked at, the 12 branch library system that I found that's got 7 of these machines sitting there doing the same thing, and one of them actually says finance.
It cracks me up. This is a camera system. It's got RDP. I've seen people open up their VMware servers to the internet, like their servers, PME or like iDRAC or like ILO open to the internet. And for people that don't know what that is, basically it's remote access into a physical piece of hardware like a server. You can view the console, you can log in, stuff like that. They post this on the internet. We've taken over companies where this stuff was like posted on the internet. You're just like, what are you doing?
I turned the DRAC off on Saturday night when I was looking at something for somebody. I said, why is this here? Oh, well, it's to log into the server, and it had the default password still.
Man, I'd be loving some Kelvin.
Yep.
We shouldn't say that, even though it's a public thing. Kelvin's great. If anybody's listening to this, Kelvin is.
I had to look it up because I thought it was.
They scrambled.
I thought it was a different one at first, and I was like, yeah. Now you can actually have a little card out to get.
Well, when you buy it, you can choose. You can choose default password, or you can choose that it's on the card. So choose it's on the card. That's probably the safer way to do it. But yeah, anyway. I think for this month, the key is. I've been making videos, like I talked about passwords week 1, MFA this week. Next week, I'll talk a little bit about phishing. One of the things I think, before we go and wrap this up, I think one of the things people need to be aware of right now is just how prevalent QR code phishing is right now. And about 7 months ago, we started during our live events showing MFA or two-factor bypass using a reverse proxy. And it's becoming a problem. Like it was a problem 7 months ago, and just since then it's exploded. And if you're we've had a couple of customers that had accounts taken over because of QR codes. So the people get a QR code in their email, they scan it, and it sends them to a site. They're putting their credentials in, and it's basically given the session token to the threat actor. They can log into their account and do whatever they want. We stopped a $400,000 attack for an invoice manipulation just this past week. Yeah. That was cool. And it's only because we've talked to this customer and they have things in place that we get alerted for when suspicious activity is happening. And I think that's important. But we had another company that we kind of helped them out with, and they've had 3 or 4 people popped in the last week with QR codes. Now, they haven't lost anything. We've noticed it and we've notified them of it, and then they take care of the account. But it's crazy how prevalent it's getting right now. So be mindful of that. If you see a QR code, don't just scan it, please. Let your users know.
Wow.
Unless it comes from me, then scan that all day.
Scan your codes all day, huh? And then I've also seen, even when you're out, some people will put QR code stickers over top of QR codes. It's
like card skimmers, like those credit card skimmers you see at the gas stations where they like.
Yep. Anyway, that's a wrap for this week. Next week.
Next week, I'm going to be in a different location, maybe. So we might have to move the day, but
okay,
we'll talk about that. But have a good rest of your week. Have a good weekend. Good. Hopefully that risk assessment goes well for the school.
Yep. And this weekend, we're back to rain in New Jersey. So 6 weekends in a row.
I think it's going to rain here too, but it's the fall, so I never know what's going to happen. So
So
yeah, but all right, I'll talk to you next week.